racetrack. Another couple trophies for the wall. Another couple friendships made. Most importantly, good day out with God's people. Thank you, God, for letting me be part of the greatest sport and the greatest group of people. Good morning, Cycle 4 lifers. It is give or take somewhere around Christmas time 2023. We're at the secret LaRue compound in Northern Virginia. Best service manager in the state. Say hi to Cycle for Life, Greg.
Hey folks, what's happening?
What do we have here today?
1971 YAMAHA 360 RT. The clock says 2,623 miles.
Wow, this thing is gorgeous, man. Absolutely beautiful. Absolutely nice.
Always wanted one as a kid, could never afford it. Now that I'm still a kid, I could afford it.
Nice, nice. So I see a twin plug head, and we put a compression release on one side.
That's a part from Harley Davidson.
Okay.
Push it once. It'll decompress if it doesn't start on the first kick, which it won't. You push it again. It still has a decompression lever up here that you use.
Okay.
And then you hit the Kickstarter.
All
So
right.
I remember being a 15-year-old kid, and this motorcycle was so big. Go ahead and sit on a cue and see how tiny it feels.
Okay. It feels diminutive compared to every motorcycle I've ever owned except a DS80. 1979 DS80 was a little smaller than this, but this is smaller than any dirt bike or street bike I've had in recent history. So yeah, it's real lightweight. You know, I don't know that I'd want to go down the highway at 80 miles an hour touring on it.
No, this is a Route 1 machine.
But yeah,
neighborhood.
This would be a neighborhood killer for sure. College campus bike, you know.
So back in the day, these pinstripes were hand painted by the employees at Yamaha.
Oh, really? They hand painted them?
Yes.
No kidding. Yeah, I guess back in the 70s.
And it's old enough that it has the screw-on badges, as opposed to later on in their career, in their life, they started getting stickers applied.
Right.
Which stickers are nowhere near as cool as a badge.
Yeah, badge is definitely cooler. So I see the blood red rear turn signals and the big, huge yellow old style lights. Man, what's the top speed on something like this? Do you know?
Oh, I figured it goes 60, probably pretty easy.
Okay. This thing's incredible, man. So where's the choke?
Right here on the side of the carburetor.
Okay.
Down is on, fuel is on.
Okay.
Yep. So I went through a compression cycle, it popped the decompression.
Okay, so you reapplied it. Okay. Each time it doesn't start, you got to redo the decomp. And that's an add-on feature, right?
Yes, that's a Harley Davidson part.
Yeah, yeah. This thing is cool. Oh, look at that, guys. Second kick, fired right up.
Yeah, it's more like a Ford.
Wow, you know, half a Ford is two, so... No, that's awesome. That is absolutely cool, man. Yeah, we used to kickstart our street bikes back in the day. I actually never did. By the time I was street riding, we had electric starters, but this was the kickstart model of the generation before me. That thing is cool. Super cool. Now, are you pre-mixing the oil, or does it have an injector?
Got an injector.
Okay. So before fuel injection, boys and girls, this is what we used to do to get them fired up. We would get them started, and right now he's trying to warm the engine. He's trying to get heat in the motor or in the engine block because it's not going to run right until it's warm and it's mixing correctly. You don't have fuel injector dwell times being modulated by an ECU. This thing is just flowing air, and as the air flows, it's carbureted, so it's pulling gasoline up through metered size holes called jets, and it's not going to run right till it's warm. So they choke the air off, which enriches the mixture, allows you to get it fired up and started, And then, you know, once it warms up, then you can turn the choke off, and that'll help the plug stay clean, and there you go. And that was the routine we had to go through to fire up and start these bikes every single time we rode them. Nowadays, the computer does all that in the fuel injection. So, yeah, look at that. Drum brakes, skidding to a stop. Does it have much of a power band like a dirt bike, or I'm guessing being a street motor, it's a more linear power band?
But it's still, it being a two-stroke, you still have it.
You still feel it?
Oh, yeah.
Just doesn't have to hit. Yeah, this thing's incredible. That thing's awesome. So is this something you're going to keep, or is this something you're flipping for your inventory, or is this something you're going to hold on to?
I'll be riding it a couple of times, and then the value on these things is really skyrocketing. So in the condition this bike's in, I believe I'll ride it a couple of times in the spring and then sell it.
Okay. Okay. So this is a financially motivated process here, for sure.
It's always something I wanted. So I've been dealing with the owner of this bike for years, well, a year, saying I want it. And you know, we'll see where it goes. Being that I'm going to be out of road racing, I need something to do. So this certainly is fun. But the condition of this piece is just fantastic.
Yeah, usually you lift these old seats up and everything's rusted under there and brown. This owner has just really kept this thing really nice and clean. It's beautiful. Absolutely a beautiful bike. So, are you running the YAMAHA oil in it, or do you have something specific for these older bikes?
It's the YAMAHA premix.
Okay. Yeah, back in the old days, when I was running dirt bikes back in the 80s and the late 70s models dirt bikes and 80s models dirt bikes, we used the factory oils, or we would use the castor oil.
We always used clots because it smelled so cool.
The clots, yeah. I remember,
but
yeah.
Here's the tank over here. It's got a little sight glass in it. So this thing is nowhere near as exotic as like my Zuma, where it will tell me I'm getting low on oil, fill up your tank. So
it has a sensor in it, yeah.
But this one doesn't, so you just have to use the window and pay attention.
Yeah.
You don't want to blow your investment up.
Yeah, this bike was built back when the riders that owned them were all tuners, and they were all technicians in their own right. You know, you had to kind of know how to work on these things to own one. They were a little bit complicated. They're simple by today's technical standards, but they were complicated in that they needed more care. You know, they were not as automatic. You had to know when you were running out of oil. It wasn't going to tell you. You know, you had to know when you were leaning out or having a fuel delivery problem, because there's no check engine light to let you know, from an O2 sensor reporting a lambda signal. They don't have any of that on these old bikes. So these guys actually had to know what they were doing. There's the old telltale oily smoke coming out of the pipe, which is characteristic of unburned fuel and oil in the old two-stroke days. These were bikes that got good mile per gallon because of the light weight of the machine and the way they were used, but they were not very efficient engines. They really weren't. They got good mileage per gallon just because they were light and the engines were small, but mile per gallon wise, per drop of fuel, they weren't as efficient as the modern fuel injection.
Christmas Eve test ride.
Right on.
See, he's wearing a helmet. Just what a great fun piece of history. So when you ride it, you're like, man, the brakes suck. The seat's nice and smooth, so that's enjoyable. The two-stroke is fun. Uh-oh, here he comes. Just fun to ride. And being a 360, it's an appropriate man-sized vehicle. You could get a 100, a 125. They made a 175. They made a 250. But this is the best of its class. Purring like a kitten.
Man, that thing is great. It just takes me back to my old two-stroke days. Oh man, nothing better than a two-stroke on asphalt, guys. I love it. I absolutely love it. Thank you, Greg, for letting me ride this beautiful piece today.
You're welcome, my friend. Anytime.
Yeah, I enjoyed that.
You can be guaranteed this will never show up at the racetrack in the pits.
This isn't a pit bike, huh?
No, sir.
Not this girl, huh? Yeah, she's beautiful. All right, Cycle for Life, we want to share this with you, and we just thought you'd enjoy this. Have a good Christmas. We'll see you soon.